Good afternoon and welcome. Gentlemen, please remove your caps and please everyone stand for our national anthem. You may be all seated. Gentlemen, please put your caps back on. By an act of Congress, all those serving or have served in the military are allowed to salute when the national anthem is played. I thank all of those that are serving or have served our nation. At this time, the senior class president, Ms. Tiana Burke, will address the class.
Welcome to North Plainfield High School's very first two-session in-person graduation featuring the class of 2020. My name is Tiana Burke. Although missing out on a traditional graduation is an unfortunate turn of events, I would like to be completely forthcoming and say I'm confident in delivering this speech, mainly because you have all heard it before. For the sake of not sounding too repetitive, I've changed it since then. Let's talk about where most of our journeys began and the path we took to be here today, elementary school. If you grew up in North Plainfield, then you either went to West End, East End, or Stony Brook. Depending on which one you entered, you either experienced the intense game of rollerball, playing on the brook after school, or the monkey dome on the playground. I went to West End Elementary School, so I feel obligated to have the final say and confirm that West End is indeed the best end. I will say, however, after the rhymes we've made about which school is better, all of us ultimately ended up in the same place. Our unity first began September of 2012 at Somerset Intermediate School, the first time the class of 2020 met under one roof. Aside from the obvious tensions, we all remember the times we collectively experienced. For example, how intense Foursquare was during recess, the mutual agreement that pizza sticks on Fridays were probably the best thing we've eaten, ever. And we all remember how effective the DARE program was with Officer Fowler. We remember making new friends and being on Ubu and Kick for hours on end. Somerset is where most of us made friends from outside of our elementary school. Middle school shared some similar elements, but was distinct in its own right. Other than the coming of age changes we experienced, we also struggled early on with the new building and the new rules. I clearly remember our distress and panic after realizing we had no more Pizza Stick Fridays or recess. However, the pizza sticks were replaced with cheese fries and we were content. It was like we were in a limbo. We were too old for the activities we had enjoyed in Somerset, but too young to be considered grown up. Middle school is where we frequently heard, "You guys are about to be high schoolers. You guys have it easy now." And Mr. Torrens' most quoted line, that you are one step closer to graduation than you are to entering elementary school. Suddenly, high school felt like growing up. And while we wanted our freedom, we didn't want the baggage that came with it. At the beginning of high school, we started to fall apart as a class. We created separate groups and each one did their own things. We individually chose whether or not to participate in certain events based on the approval or disapproval of our friends. During our first 2 years of high school, there was a sense of disunity in our actions and decisions as a class. We all remember the freshman year hallway decorations and the sophomore year 6-people color war scene. The first 2 years, we went on our own paths and focused on ourselves. We had been looked down upon by the older and younger generations. However, our junior year, everything changed. It was then when all of us came together to show everyone what an amazing class we are. We worked hard, and we all know that we deserved first place at the junior year color wars. That night, we showed all the other classes what unity is about and how to enjoy it with one another. From then on, we kept trying to build on that momentum, but we were often met with hardships. The first came when we had our Powder Puff game canceled, a game we had worked extremely hard to prepare for. And I remember all of us practicing either on lower crouch or here, and we were so excited that we learned how to do the stiff arm, along with our coaches being excited about making our playbook. The second came when we made the decision to cancel junior prom. Many of us remember all too well the comments made by other classes. By canceling junior prom, we planned and replaced it with the first ever summer bash, which was a success. Junior year was all about us being the underdog and coming out on top better than ever. We wanted everyone to know that 2020 was a class that couldn't be beaten, and we did. This year, I watched my classmates take charge and change things in our school. I watched the formation of the first senior sunrise, where some of us came to school early. On that day, I saw people who would have never come to school early, and I mean never. I watched the creation of the hype squad, showing up to sporting events and cheering on our players both at home and away games. I remember the storming of the field when we won the football senior night, and everyone was so happy and excited. I remember the intensity of the senior wrestling night, as the gym was filled with the hype squad's chants and cheers. I remember several students, amongst myself, waking up in the morning to decorate for homecoming until 2 hours before the event. I remember hallway decorating, where for a week I watched my classmates plan to come after their activities and their tutoring and their other extracurriculars to plan on how to win first place. And we did win first place. No matter how hard the other classes wanted to discard our efforts and say we cheated, we always came on top. Nothing in our high school experience has been easy. Everything we wanted, we worked for. We fought against the negativity from the other grades, both alumni and underclassmen, and proved them incredibly wrong. We've had alumni now tell us that they wish they had done what we've been doing. We've had underclassmen tell us that once we are gone, they will continue what we've created. It wouldn't be our class if everything went perfectly the first time. It wouldn't be our class if we had just followed the path that had already been traversed. I believe we experience times like this to show ourselves and others that we will not give up when times get hard, and instead we will take our own path. The class of 2020 is different, and when we are together, we can make a change significantly greater than the classes before us. Now that we are graduating, I ask that you do not change that drive and passion that has been growing inside of you these 4 years. I ask that you keep fighting against those who do not wish for you to succeed, and that you create something new to inspire others. We may have gone to where we all are now because of our unity as a class, but it would have never worked if we were missing that fire inside of us. No matter where you go after this, remember that we can make a change. Just as we've changed NP, I want you all to change whatever environment you are putting yourselves into in this next chapter of our lives. These last couple of months may not have been what we expected, but we will make the best of this, just like all the other things we have gotten through. We survived high school, and this is something to be proud of. Yes, we all either used each other, Quizlet, or Photomath to make it easier, but nonetheless, we've done it. While our classes definitely had our ups and downs, I wouldn't have wanted to graduate with any other class. We have gone through so much and still persevered in the end. I wish you all nothing but the best, and advise you to work hard and follow your dreams. No one will be on top of us about things anymore. We are officially grown up. Before closing my speech, I'd like to share thanks. Thank you to all the teachers and staff in the school for teaching and tolerating what a crazy group of kids we are. I know we have not made it easy for you. Thank you to all the families and friends watching. You have raised amazing people that I've grown up with. Thank you to the PTO for everything they have done for our class and making our year as memorable as possible. Thank you to my parents and family for always being a good example of hard work and perseverance and teaching me how to navigate about life. Thank you to my classmates for showing me what true friendship looks like and how to be a better student, person, and friend. Thank you to Keenan and Bigden for being the best and most understanding advisors. To my classmates, we are the only class to have 2 graduations. Enjoy it. Class of 2020, congratulations.
Ms. Burke, as a former East Ender, I can argue that East End is the best end. At this time, I'd like to call up the senior valedictorian, Mr. Daniel Duncan, to address the class.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, my name is Daniel Duncan, and I'm honored to welcome parents and guardians, teachers and guests, and most importantly, North Plainfield Highs to this year's in-person graduation. After hearing what people said, I have to say, first of all, Stony Brook is the best. All right. And to the speech. It's a blessing for us to be here, and I hope you guys remember this moment for the rest of your lives. Even though the world is in turmoil, we made it, and that's important. On Friday, March 13th of this year, Governor Murphy issued a state of emergency in New Jersey, leading to the closures of schools all across the state. Initially, it was only thought to last for about 2 weeks. However, it's lasted longer than that. I remember that day faithfully. Although we entered the building as normal, it was clear that there was a sense of panic in the air. There were so many unanswered questions about how this virus would affect our school year. But I think what really bothered us was the lack of control we had on the situation. I think it's normal for us to feel regret. Regret that we didn't participate in activities we looked forward to since freshman year. Regret that we didn't say goodbye to friends and family and teachers who we love dearly. Regret that our time in high school is behind us. By the time we officially graduate, it will have been 117 days today since our last day of school. Now that's a staggering statistic, and it speaks volumes to how drastically our world has changed. But don't forget how long and hard you've worked for this accomplishment. By the time we officially, assuming we're around 18, we've been on this planet for about 6,570 days, and of those days, 4,745 have been spent in the educational system. That means about 72% of our lives have been spent in school. I, for one, still remember the assemblies where we'd all sit together as a class and hear Mr. Torres tell us that we're closer to graduation than we were in middle school. And like many, I never believed how fast this would come upon us. But the inevitability of that statement conditioned us early that there are some things in life we can't control. Nevertheless, before we exit the building, I'd like to highlight some accomplishments we've had during our time at NPHS. In the arts, shout out to seniors who participated in the spring musical, the seniors who were slated to perform or display works of art in the Somerset County Teens Art Festival, our awesome corn students who sang amazing Valentines this year, and this year's members of the CJMEA Honor Symphonic Band. In athletics, shout out to seniors who are committed student athletes and racked up awards like All Division, All Conference, All State, Multi-State Champion, County and State level Scholar Athlete Awards, and countless college commitments. Our classes contributed to approximately 300 varsity victories. And shout out to the entire senior class for generating $122,000 in local scholarship money, as well as millions from colleges and universities across the country. Now don't forget, before all the success, we were once considered to be a hopeless class. We were dysfunctional and refused to communicate or participate with each other. Early on, we lost the respect of some of our upperclassmen peers. But instead of accepting our situation, we took control and poised ourselves to make history. This year, I got to see this go full circle. As a sophomore, I was a part of that 6-person Color Wars team, and I was disappointed about the turnout our class had. However, this year, I had the pleasure of experiencing the pink out, where we all rushed the field after the football team won. And that experience showed me how much fight our class has. All of this teaches a profound life lesson that should be taken to heart. Through adversity rises opportunity. Soon, as we enter this new daunting world, we will experience changes socially and emotionally we've never endured before. If you take anything from this speech, I'd like you to remember this phrase: I am in control of my life. This phrase, although short and simple, is powerful in that it establishes how we influence our own lives. When life gets tough, instead of getting down yourself, I challenge you to persevere. As Pastor Charles Swindoll once said, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. You have the reins to your life, and truly only you can control its direction. Again, congratulations to my fellow classmates, and on behalf of my class, we'd like to shout out advisors, Ms. Keenan and Mr. Bigden. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. At this time, I'd like to call up our senior essay winner, Ms. Rachel Demi Soto.
Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude towards those who have worked so hard to ensure that we get to graduate here on our home field today. Despite what appeared to be the end of our year, we get to celebrate the biggest moment of all together. Many have said variations of, life isn't what happens to you, but rather how you respond to what happens to you. I think the class of 2020 and this graduation ceremony itself is the embodiment of responding to what happens to us. I've always romanticized people as fruit trees. Stimulus response theory can be compared to this metaphor. However, we as fruit trees are not already decided. Rather, we choose what fruit to grow. This is our response. Now, society in all its glory has never really amounted to being any less judgmental or difficult to live in. Throughout all of its history, humans from all walks of life have faced adversity for the color of their skin, their gender, sexuality, religion, and almost anything else that could set them apart. I'm sure everyone has experienced the feeling of hurt from outsiders who come to pick the fruits from our branches, taste them, realize they aren't a fan of what we are, and spit us out. These are the poorly colored truths about humanity. But please don't be discouraged. Our presentation to others does not need to be pretty and delicious for all to taste. The attempt to fulfill this would be dissatisfying and fruitless. This graduation and the diploma that we will receive today is the culmination of our past choices and future decisions of how we will continue developing to make the most nutritious and valuable impact possible. All fruit trees aside, for the most of us, post-senior year isn't when we begin to make all the big decisions. Looking out towards my fellow classmates, I see the faces of young men and women who have already begun some of their greatest endeavors. I see the faces of those who have been teachers and even parental figures to their younger siblings. I see the faces of those who have already acquired jobs and internships. But most importantly, I see the faces of those who have likely had a time in your life where you felt the world was absolutely crumbling. But look at us. We are here and held together. I see you. While every member of this rapidly evolving society may not know our truth or our struggles that we choose to withhold, our story is no less valid. Our struggles, no less, make up the quality and character of who we all are. In all reality, life has never begun here in this moment. Our lives don't start at this graduation, for they have already started. Who are we if not incredibly powerful for having made it to this point? This pandemic may have altered our thoughts for what our last year here was supposed to be, and it's likely going to be the running joke of our story-told lives how I didn't even get to finish my senior year. But who are we if not versatile? My youthful advice to myself and to everyone here is to continue transforming. Let's never let go of our past because we are always Canucks strong, but never be afraid to take on new titles and identities to come. We can't let ourselves stop moving if it's the last thing we do. We'll grow our branches and expand in every direction. It's our innate right as humans to choose the fruit we grow, to choose our impact, our response. No pressure.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. At this time, the concert choir has prepared the song titled "The Lonesome Road," arranged by James Taylor.
Walk down that lonesome road, all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon silver moon is shining high above the tree.
I would like to call to the microphone the Superintendent of North Plainfield School District, Dr. Michelle Aquino.
Good afternoon. On behalf of our Board of Education, I would like to welcome you, our families, our staff, and most importantly, our graduates, our seniors of the class of 2020. I would like to take this opportunity to express how sincerely grateful we are to see you all here. We know that this has been a difficult close of the year. Graduation is always very impactful, but being here with you at this time and knowing we were able to sit and see you graduate means more than we can express. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the families for trusting us with the education of your children, to Dr. Stevenson and administration for their leadership, and to our great faculty for your mentoring. All of you have helped pave the road for these young people before us. And most sincerely, thank you to our graduates. It's an honor to speak with you. I know this is not the senior year you wanted nor envisioned, but you have earned your degree, and that will forever be yours. We appreciate your flexibility in making the best of a situation and working with us each step of the way to determine the best way to honor you. We are so excited to be here. We did not think it would happen, but we all worked together to make it a reality. We come together to reflect upon and celebrate your successes and your journey getting here. You came to North Plainfield High School as impressionable young students, and you leave us today prepared to take life's next step. You're an exceptional group who made contributions in the arts, athletics, academics, and our community as a whole. Right now, your families are reflecting upon your schooling experience and remember holding your hand the first day you entered kindergarten, which to them seems like just yesterday. To the families that walked our graduates to those doors, you will forever be a part of their lives, sharing your wisdom, your life experiences, and celebrating in their continued growth. These are uncertain times, and we need people like you, our graduates of 2020, to be looking to the future and understanding the opportunities before you. This has been the most challenging time we have faced, and while we know we are not through it all, we stand here today as a community, as Canucks, to take a time out and to celebrate you. Always ask yourself, what are you looking for and what do you see? Take control of what you look for in any situation. And this experience, as you round it out this senior year, is something that will make you resilient, prepared, and grateful. We will undoubtedly need to rewrite some of life's script. Months ago, we thought this could never happen. Now, it has expanded what can happen in our important role, your important role, in making things work. You are entering this world as an adult, and you have learned what could be the most important lesson of your life in the last 3 months: how fragile life is. Albert Einstein said, "In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity." There is no question that we are in the midst of a global crisis, but COVID-19 has not defeated you, and the opportunity to make an impact lies ahead for each and every one of you. During your virtual graduation, I shared 2 stories that I hope stay with you. One is a story that I heard as an adult and have told time and time again, but it seems ever appropriate to share it again with you. In the middle of a courtyard of a barracks sat a small bench, and next to that small bench a soldier stood guard. No one knew why it was guarded around the clock, every day, every night, every minute. One generation of officers to the next. The order was passed, the soldiers obeyed it. No one asked why or expressed any doubts. There had to be a reason if it was always done that way. And so it continued until someone, a general, a colonel, wanted to look at the original order. He had to rummage through files, and after a good bit of looking around, found the answer. 31 years, 2 months, and 4 days ago, an officer had ordered a guard to be stationed beside that small bench, which had just been painted, so that no one would ever think of sitting on the wet paint. So this made me think and beg the question, what benches do we guard that might need to be reevaluated? Is there a tradition that it continues merely because it's always been done that way? And are there habits and practices that you or I have picked up that need to be reevaluated too? You have spent 12 3/4 years since kindergarten in a traditional brick and mortar environment. In the last term, just as you were about to round out your senior year, our nation and our state closed down. For the first time in our history, schools closed their doors to students and they were educated remotely. But you, our seniors, rallied, you advocated, and most importantly, you graduated. You modeled for us that we can adjust, we can reevaluate, and that things can be different. We didn't need to guard the bench of being in that brick and mortar building. Our planet has been given a chance to breathe, and it too shows that our world has the ability to make adjustments to better impact our environment. Always promise us you will be reflective and ask questions. You will realize in your life that there are some benches and traditions that are absolutely worth protecting and guarding. But there are some that you need to ask more about to reevaluate them. There's so many messages that I heard here from our 3 senior speakers that I will undoubtedly take with me going forward. And when I had the opportunity to attend a virtual Hunter College graduation, their speaker talked about the current pandemic and their takeaways, and I felt compelled to share them with you. He said, "Remember to take time to matter. Turn your worry into wonder and your panic into passion. Disrupt this world for good and use your power to make a difference in this world." Congratulations, class of 2020. You make us proud, and we cannot wait to see all of the great things you do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aquino. Good afternoon, Dr. Aquino, members of the Board of Education, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and especially the class of 2020. It is a great honor and pleasure that I stand before the class of 2020 and give the 123rd commencement address of North Plainfield High School. A commencement address is a rite of passage and deserves our special consideration. Today, we celebrate and honor your hard work. Before I continue with my remarks, I would like to thank Dr. Aquino for her leadership, the Board of Education for their continuous support, the administration team, our teaching staff, the guidance department for their hard work, the high school office secretaries, the custodial staff for making all this possible, and specifically Ms. Keenan and Mr. Bigden for dedicating their time and efforts as class advisors for the class of 2020. Unfortunately, Dr. Stevenson is not able to be here today to celebrate your accomplishments. However, like your parents and loved ones that are here, he is with his family to celebrate his daughter's high school graduation. He wanted me to tell you that he is extremely proud of you and he wishes the very best as you take the next step in your lives. I have to admit that once Dr. Stevenson asked me to address the class of 2020, I jumped to the challenge. But at the same time, I quickly realized the magnitude of this event. This is the first time I address a class at a graduation. The grandeur of this event caused a bit of nervousness. I asked myself, how do I encourage and possibly inspire these young people one last time? After speaking about this opportunity to a very dear person to me, I was quickly reminded that you're all in the same position. You all jumped at the challenges of high school and succeeded. I'm here to encourage you that you can do this thing called life. It is in your control now. I can tell you that it's not going to be easy. However, it's going to be worth it. You all have the skills and the know-how to navigate the stormy waters of life. You all have shown perseverance and grit throughout the last 4 years. You stood strong during the unprecedented pandemic, and then equally stood strong together as a diverse group of students. You all rose to the challenges to stand out and to make it here today, your graduation day. You know, time flies, and it will move forward without restriction. I specifically remember telling you all in an assembly when you entered the 9th grade that high school would go quickly. During that assembly, I asked if you all remembered the first day of kindergarten. Many, if not all, raised your hands to acknowledge that you did. I know your loved ones here today remember it vividly and would trade anything to go back to those days. I then told you that that memory may have seemed like it was just yesterday, but the reality was that graduation day, today, was closer on that date than the first day of kindergarten you remembered. So now what? Many of you will go off to college, others will serve in the military, and others will join the workforce. Either way, hold true to who you are. We have been taught not to be selfish as children, but I believe there are 4 principles in life you must be selfish about. The first one is your faith, whatever that may be. Hold true to the values and the morals that guide your life. It is what we have in the end. The second one is your time with your family. They are the ones that will show up. They are the ones that will love you unconditionally. When times get tough, they will be there for you, and you will be there for them. The third one is your education and your drive to learn. Once you have it, once you learn it, no one can take it away from you. Today is a testament of that. Understand that just because your schooling at North Plainfield High School is over, your education in life will continue. The last one is your time with people that matter, your friends, the people that will help you grow. Surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed, and vice versa. In closing, I have one last piece of advice for you. It comes from the lyrics of a song written by Tim McGraw, Humble and Kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around and help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. Each of you have the skills to be successful. Follow your vision, seize the opportunities, better society, make change. Be proud graduates of North Plainfield High School. It is my duty and distinct privilege to inform you that you have been certified and have fulfilled all the requirements prescribed by the Board of Education of the Borough of North Plainfield and the New Jersey State Department of Education, and you have earned the right to graduate from North Plainfield High School. At this time, we will conduct our roll call of graduates. I will ask that the first row please stand and make your way to the stage as you maintain social distancing. Tiana Burke. Daniel Duncan. Rachel Demi Soto. Jasmine Hernandez Ponce. Almacar Herrera Ortiz. Sherry Ibrahim Georgie. Franklin Oswald Jackson. Leanna Joanne Hara. Edgar D. Hara Hernandez. Quasan B. Jean Baptiste. Cindy Jimenez. Gavin Jones Phillips. Parajat Kaur. Joseph Ledesma. Jenny Beth Leva. Ashley Maribel Lazada. Jessica P. Lazada Villegas. Joseph Manzano Santana. Michael Y. Matos. Samin Dante McEachern. James McGovern. Grace McGrath. Brandon McNair. Isaiah Xavier Medina. Trenton Mixon. Andrea Montenegro. Rafael A. Montoya Bowden. Quinlan Moore. Emmanuel Morotaya Garcia. Ashlyn Murillo. Veronica S. Naranjo Escalante. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Mohammed Umair Nasir. Andy Nunez Reyes. Brandon Olivares. Kristen Graciela Olivares Gonzalez. Alan Fernando Olivo Paredes. Rebecca Oyola. You're welcome. Camille Eliza Pareguano. Jaime E. Palma Gonzalez. Daniel Pareja. Sophia Elizabeth Pellegrino. Nayeli Perez Aguilar. Carla Lisette Perez Vaca. Stephanie Abigail Portillo Medina. Karina Damaris Perez Ramos. Tiana M. Presley. Angel Quiquintuna. Ludwin A. Ramirez Velasquez. Madeline Giselle Rimcraft. William E. Rivera Roman. Kevin David Robles. Sarah Rodriguez. Alicia Romero. Christopher Joseph Rosario. Wilmer Ruiz Hernandez. Kishani Y. Russell. Paul Salazar. Emily Salazar Solis. Sayana Salim. Danny? What's it? Shandi Salinas. Danny Sanchez. Delilah Marie Sakik. Patrick Singh. Daniel Solis. Irving Sebastian Solis. Giselle Solis Ramos. David Tamayo Sanchez. Jeremiah Thomas. Carlos Tix Ventura. Chelsea Arlene Toaza. Jimena Mariela Torres. Willard Torres II. Edgar Toxiki Romero. Gabriel M. Valderrama. Salma Valjevac. Evelyn A. Valladares Lopez. Johan Vallecillo. Jennifer Michelle Velices Martinez. Faith Wilson. Brian Yamaguano. Jonathan Zavaleta Gabriel. Ria Brumba. Stephen Brumba. Glenka Alondra Jimenez. Yushena C. Umbaku. At this time, please remain standing for the North Plainfield High School alma mater.
Hail, North Plainfield High, we praise thee, pledge devotion true. Fondest memories round thee linger, cheer our hearts anew. Sons and daughters, come before us, join with us and swell the chorus. Hail, North Plainfield alma mater, hail, North Plainfield High.
Graduates, at this time, slide your tassel from the left to the right side of your cap. Congratulations to the class of 2020. This concludes our ceremony. Graduates are to meet with their parents or guardians and exit through the main gate. Use the opening to your left to meet with your parents. As you exit, please use your face covers and maintain social distancing. It is prohibited to congregate, so please make your way to your cars. Thank you. Let's leave them here for now. The custodians will bring it to the office, and Grace can pick them up. Let's just grab the.
The thing is, I know we need.
Okay, let's the speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to exit the field. Please make your way to your cars and maintain social distancing, please. Ensure that you have your face coverings on. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to make your way off the field. Crowd control, can you please remind the guests that they have to leave the field?